Good morning to day 138. Seems weird standing up here, looking at the sea. Still a long way to go, but it's starting to feel a little bit more like a house. A bit strange. I suppose when the roof goes on, it'll be completely different. But anyway, it feels like I've actually been here for about 14 years now. At one point it felt like I was here a month, and I was here for about 3 months. Now I actually feel like I've been here forever. But anyway, hopefully we're going to start getting a bit of change on here. I mean, with builds, it's like 1 minute it feels like it's never ending, and the next minute it starts coming together. I think today, if we can try and get a lot of the block work finished off on the pours that have been done, here's a perfect example. We can obviously do what we've got to do here. I think what we've got to do in this piece here is work out where the beam's got to go. It's a bit weird on the camera when I'm doing this. But this piece here, right across to here, there needs to be some form of beam detail. I'm assuming it's going to be 3 quarters up in the air like everything else. So we've got to get this 3 quarters up in the air, that 3 quarters up in the air. That has like a beam done on it first before we can do any courses, obviously. The rebar boys are here. I'm not too sure if the owner ordered the steel last night, but we need that steel sooner rather than later, obviously. And they're going to finish off pouring this as well. So this building itself, again on the camera, they're halfway through that as we speak. So hopefully today they'll get that finished off, and then tomorrow the boxing will come off and the blocks will start going off that as well. So I think what's going to happen is, on all the buildings, from what I can see so far, there's going to be a beam, which is 8 inches, so 12 inches in total with concrete. Then there's 3 courses of blocks that go on top of that. And then there should be a foot beam, and then another 200mm beam, which is what the roof is tied into, and then there'll be 1 course above that of block, which I think we're going to try and do in concrete. So it'll be like a T-Junction. So you'll have the foot, the 200 and the parapet, and in the middle of that you'll have the roof connecting. So again, rather than having the last course of block, which over time will just crack and come loose, I think we're going to try and do a T-Junction. So again, it's like we're going to start off with, so once we get to the 3 blocks, in fact, let me have a look over here, so you see what I mean. So as we can see here, we're at 3 blocks now. So this has had 8 foot of blocks, it's had a foot beam, it's had 3 blocks, then it's going to have a 1 foot beam, then it'll have a 200, which is what the roof will connect into this way. Can't even do it on the camera. This way. And then they'll have another 200 above that. So in total, let me get this right, a foot, 300, 200, 200. So we'll end up having 700 deep in concrete, of which all of that will be steel. And in the middle of that will be a T-junction, which will point through and connect into the concrete roof. So we're going to be doing that on there, here, all of the surroundings. So here will be a bit different as well. This will be the same. This will have this is just to get into a point where it's had the pour. It's then got 3 blocks. Then it'll have the 700 with the T-junction through the middle. So that's, I think, the aim. With regards to these, that's got a different steel that's being manufactured. So we've had the spec detail for that now from the engineer. So I'm going to talk to the guys about what we've got to build there today, because that's got to be built right across, integrating into the beams themselves. But again, we've got to go up another 3 courses as well. So we need the first beam in, the 3 courses, and then the steels above that as well. This one here, which is above here, they've actually gone for a 4 foot beam. So rather than what we've been doing here, concrete, 3 blocks, then the actual steels, they're on about doing a 4 foot set of steels. So again, that will have to be boxed up and poured. So I'm going to talk to them about that. They're actually talking about getting that manufactured. So rather than having it rebarred on site like the guys have been doing, they're actually talking about going to a company and having that manufactured and then delivered in place. So yeah, what a bloody monster this is turning into. So anyway, today we're going to double check the actual sewage has been set, and if the sewage is set, we're going to backfill that. We'll backfill everything with regards to that if we can. The plumber hasn't been here to finish off as always, so he's still got to apparently he's not put P-traps in any of the actual waste here as well, so that's got to be done. So he's going to have to cut those and redo those. He's still got to connect up the grease trap at the very back of the house. He's still got to sign off the runs that are all here. That's one thing he's trying to avoid to be done, which he can't. It's his responsibility. And then then what we can do is we can start backfilling, we can start pushing some of this soil that we have and leveling it off, so we can actually operate a bit more. You know, trying to get around logistically the site is a bit of a pain in the backside. So if we can try and get him to commit to being here and do his job, then there's a lot of things we can actually start cracking on with. Yesterday they saw that there were some pipes in here that haven't been extended. I'm assuming it's going to be probably that one there, because I'm not seeing it point out the top. So fair play to the masons for spotting it, because if they just poured, then that would have been stuck in the actual in the cavities, and there's nothing we can do with it. So I did give them pipe yesterday, which they haven't used, so they're obviously taking it back, but they need to extend that today. So I'm under the impression that they started here yesterday, just in this corner. Where am I? Window corner. So just in this corner here they started, and they went all the way around here, and I think they got to about here. So they did about half yesterday. So they'll get around to doing the other half today, and then tomorrow the boxing can come off and we can start blocking that. So yeah, shed loads to do, and no plan in sight. So at the moment everyone's doing what they need to do, but there's no plan. So we do need to get a plan. In my life, everything's goal orientated. You've got a goal, you know where you're going, you know where you achieve it. Here, it's just the day cracks on and they just do what they've got to do. They don't finish any day knowing whether they achieve what they want to achieve. So they work and they get stuff done, obviously, but they don't know whether they're achieving more than they should have. So I'm trying to change that behaviour, but it's very difficult. But anyway, so there's still Bender boys are here. I've just seen them turn up, so I'm going to have a chat with them about what they're expecting to do. The excavator man, once the plumber's done his job, can actually check all of this, but I need to get the plumber on site, which is bloody difficult. I also need to reach out to whoever's doing the pool today, because again, nothing's happened on the pool at all. So we've got to decide what we're going to do. We were meant to have a glass-fronted pool. As you can see, there's meant to be around about 4 feet of glass, so that from here, when the water's across from this edge here to this edge here, you're literally seeing straight through. But we've not heard anything from the people doing the glass at all. So that would lead me to believe that they're either not interested or can't do what they said they were going to do. So now we have to think of an alternative. So again, anyone that's watching this, if you've got any ideas about what we could do, I mean, obviously at the moment, the only thing we really can do is to block this up. So out to the trough, along, and then back again, block it right up to where it should be. Yeah, which means we lose the view through, but it's certainly a cheaper and quicker option. And obviously we've got to get it scratch coated in here completely all the way around, and then they also use that pool material, I don't know what it's called, but they pick a colour and they render the inside of it to make it waterproof. So that's got to be done as well as the steps. They've got to be built as well. So there's 6 feet of steps that go down here, 4 feet. So they've got to be built, earth's got to be sorted, and the inside finished off. That's not including the pump that's got to be bought, the installation's got to be made. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So anyway, still lots to do. So I'll try and catch up with the guys as and when they arrive, because it's still only 8:45, and let's see what the plan is for the day. Okay, so we're 10 to 2. Just returned to site after being off for a couple of hours. Okay, we've got piles of mud. Let's have a look at the piles of mud. So, lovely, beautiful pile of mud in the middle, but that's obviously from here. So the drainage now is ready to go from here down to the last well that leads to the septic. So surely with this amount of space and this amount of height, we can't fuck this one up. So fingers crossed. Obviously I'll have to supervise them just in case. I'm sure they can pause this one as well. But either way, we should be coming in here. We've got to determine the actual height of the drainage that's going to be coming through here, because that's where it will penetrate. And from penetrating here, this one has to be lower, obviously. So not 1 millimetre lower, not 2 millimetre lower, it needs to be proper lower. So we've got a lot of scope, because those pipes are right in at the bottom, so we really can't get this one wrong, surely. Anyway, once that's in and done, then we can backfill this, and it means we can start lean on it a bit more. That said, this is meant to be driveway, which means they're probably going to have to put marl in here, not mud, because the garage is going to sit on it, and so is the foundation. So it might be worth analysing where the foundation will actually be before we backfill it as well. That said, yeah, we're definitely going to have to find out whereabouts the garage wall is going to be, because we need to make sure we're away from that, that's for sure. So it was bloody good job we moved that manhole, that's for sure. Anyway, rest of the site, a quick look around, see what else has gone on whilst I've been gone. Steps are now going in with boxing for the front of the house. So we got BRC, we got formwork, and we have some steps taking shape. Steps taking shape, Wayne? Fair play. Let's get up there and have a quick look as well, see what's going on. Okay, rebar boys are here, steel's been delivered, so they now got stuff to get on with. Guys actually using plywood, although blocks on the floor there. Door frame's been taken out, which is good news. Jesus, boys are flying through here, look. 3 courses already on there, which I assume that means they would have finished off nearly over there. Yeah, awesome. How are you?
Yeah, probably.
Good, good. Awesome. Here the rebar boys need to get that steel taken right over to there so the guys can pull that as well. That needs to be done ASAP. Pipe is extended over there as well, which means they would have pulled all the way around, so now they've probably got around about a third of that building left to pour. What else? What else? What else? I'm not seeing anything steel-wise taking place. So, not too sure what the rebar boys have been up to so far. Trouble is they make stuff over there and put it in the container and then come over and install afterwards, so it can look like they're doing nothing, but the chances are they probably are. Okay, so the electrician's got to come and move his conduit, and I need him doing that sooner rather than later so we can get that box back up again, because at the moment the wind is blowing straight in through the back and the wind is salt, which we could do without. Again, that beam's meant to be taken over there as well. Need that done sooner rather than later so the guys can actually get that poured and get the blocks finished off as well. So again, rebar boys. So we'll have to have a word with them to get that sorted. What else? I think over here really has just been, I think obviously over here has been mainly pouring the concrete. I'm sure they've started taking some of the boxing off inside. So let's have a quick look. More concrete being poured up. Let's have a look inside. Yeah, so start taking the formwork off. Look. So formwork's been taken off. Starter bar's already been extended anyway. So once that's done, we'll get the outside taken off. And we can start blocking in here. This is good to come off as well. I think they got to about here, so this is good to come off. And obviously we're pouring as we speak now, so I'll carry on pouring. Down here was finished off as well. So they sanded around here, concreted around the actual holes themselves, which is good. And the grease trap's been put in as well. So actually got a run on it for once. That's good. Reasonably productive morning so far. We've got lots of water that's actually gone into the main wells over here. That was one we actually dug out. Obviously the water that had been from the tap just running onto the floor, it looked like a pipe had burst. We'd gone through a pipe at one point. It was just basically the water that had been collecting over there all that time, suddenly flooding down, and it's all landed up in our beautiful little hole. So, like we need more water in there at the moment. So anyway, that's near. I don't know whether he actually tested that or not, but that is good to go. The diagonal one's been dug out, so that the drainage coming from the house, this toilet and the garage will go diagonally through here and connect up into that well as well. So that will wide junction into the main pipe coming along the front of the house here. So as soon as that pipe comes down, they'll wide junction that one straight in as well. and that's all going down to the septic. So once that pipe there is done, within reason, once that has been tested, that pipe's been run across and that pipe's been run across, we can level all this and backfill up to the septic tank. We've got to leave around because we've still got to do the suck well, and still increase the manhole heights on the septic tank. But once that's actually done, we can level off, we can backfill in here, we can backfill all around here, we can sort of backfill around here, although, as I said this morning, the plumber's not put any P-traps in any of the pipework here, which is a bloody no-no, so he should know this, he's a plumber. So what I should be asking him to do is to take it all up and put P-traps in, like I do with everything else. Stop, rectify, go again. So it's literally in reverse, rectify the work, forward again. In reverse, rectify the work, move forward again. So, you know, he's a qualified plumber, he should know what to do, and I shouldn't have to be worrying about whether what he's doing is right. So he's putting a price on the job, he's getting paid reasonably well, but if he doesn't actually focus on the bits he's got to do on the job, then obviously things are going to go awry and he's going to keep stepping over his own footprints in the sand all the time, which is what he seems to be doing all the time on my tab. Anyway, other than that, the inner wall's been scratch coated on the wall here. That will be the inner living room wall. So when you're actually looking at the house itself, as you can see in here, you're seeing the main entrance into the house. I'm not too sure why they scratch coated that part only. It might be because it's finished. Not too sure. So door frame is been taken out, so the steel can go around that now. Yeah, so plenty to do, plenty happening, but plenty to do. Other than that, the guys are doing the steels and the steps now, and we've got a scratch coat over there which you didn't see. We've got a scratch coat around the base of the garbage and utilities area. That's it for now. I'll check back in soon. 4 o'clock near on. Guys are still pouring. This has got a big beam, this. Obviously this is the little beam we had next to the 8-inch wall, plus the main pillar itself. So, lots of pouring going on. So pretty much, this is near on the home straight, last few corners, and then the whole thing should be poured and done. To work out what we're doing now. Takes a lot of concrete. So one thing we've actually found this afternoon, because we were deciding on whether we were literally going to backfill these elements around here where the waste was concerned, is that we now have water in here and here just testing, and we've let the water settle, but at the moment both this pipe here and this pipe here both have about 1 inch of water sitting in them and nothing's flowing. However, there's a slight movement of water going backwards that way. So to have a pipe that's meant to be on a run going that way, having water slightly going that way, is a big concern. This water here that you can see in the pit is what happened when we dug out. We've dug out the actual trough to go all the way down here for the waste, and the one diagonally here to come through to the house. Water that was actually over here ran backwards into here. So at the moment it looks like that water's gone through into the well itself, which is fine because we haven't sealed it yet. But at the same time, what it should be doing is, as and when it comes in deeper than the pipe, it should be running that way. But it's not, it's just sitting in the mouth of the pipe as it is here, but this one's got a very, very slight run backwards. You can watch in here, water's slowly dripping out into that well. So this should have enough of a run on it to ensure that nothing comes up, and it is coming up. So straight away that then tells me that needs to be redone. As a result of that one having to be redone, so is this one. The downside is that is on the floor. So what that would tell me at the moment, if you want to do things right, is that again that's got to be demolished and redone again, and as much as it's on rock, we have to go through the rock and make that manhole lower. We can then come down by 2 inches on this one, but it doesn't mean we have to dig all of that back up again and reset that pipe. We may get away with leaving this as it is, but that has to be at least 3, 4, 5 inches lower than it is now. So re-demolishing that, rebuilding that yet again. I've checked the actual fall going down to the septic tank, and it doesn't seem massively steep, but it does seem like it has a run. So if we can take that down, then that can stay as it is. So soul destroying. This is like Groundhog Day on the sewage. Every day there seems to be us talking about the sewage and having to redo things. So here there doesn't seem to be a drainage specialist. Otherwise I'd just go, do you know what, you should give it to them, let them do it. If they can't get it right, Jesus Christ, no one's going to get it right. But at the moment, they're obviously trying to convince me just to backfill and it should be okay, but it's not going to be okay. So the thing we have to do is make a decision, and make a decision quite quickly on what we do. I personally feel, painful as it is, I think we should smack it up, dig it up, and try and go down deeper and do it as it should be done. It needs to be 3, 4, 5 inches lower than it is now. The pipe is literally in that well. The pipe itself is actually on the floor. It can't go any lower. So if it's not getting a run and it's on the floor, so I think it pretty much answers the question, doesn't it? Should we or should we not tear it up? It doesn't have any form of. There's no way we can go down. So have no choice but to take it out. So that's a decision I'm going to be making in the next couple of hours. But I think my decision's already made. I think we just need to do it. No point delaying, pulling the scab off, just pull it off, rip it off. So I think I'll go and do that in a minute. Hey ho.